Alicia from That Budget Stuff. Thanks for coming and watching my replay of step 4, which is really a follow-on from step 3 called the bank. And this is part of the Save Yourself a Bucketload mortgage formula. So I'm just quickly coming back to share with you how I got on yesterday when I called my bank. So a couple of key points before I get to the scenario here about how it all went. I rang the bank and I rang their generic number, got through to a general mortgage area, asked for the retention team, and I got put through to the retention team. When I spoke to that team member, I just confirmed again and asked that they were part of the retention team, and they were, so that was all good. And then I started my information and started chatting through, and I don't know if, I haven't got them here just nearby, but I've just put a sheet. I did some post-it notes, essentially like, don't know where I put them now. This is one of them. For example, that was step 5. What I want is them to match the interest rate and to reduce the fees. So I talked about why I was calling, that I was a long-term customer of Westpac. I had all of our banking products with Westpac Bank. I've got a couple outside, but our main banking products are with Westpac. We have our home loan with them, and I had done my research. And I was ringing up to ask for an interest rate reduction and the removal of our annual fee. I then shared with them, I'll just move this for a sec, and I'm sorry it's backwards today, I couldn't get my camera fixed up. I shared with them all the research I had done and talked through the amount, so it was really helpful having that there. And then the team member said to me they have a new lending rate, which is what she's going to put an application in for me for our home loan. And that rate was, instead of 2.93%, which we're on at the moment, it was 2.79%. So she explained to me that it's being escalated to their pricing manager for approval, and that would take probably up to 2 business days. She did say to me that I wouldn't hear back if it was good news. I would only hear back if that was declined. So she said by Tuesday morning, if it's gone through, that should show up on our home loan, which will be great. I did explain to her that it wasn't the same amount that we were looking for, because we were looking for, I'm going to move this for a sec, sorry. We were looking for the 2.49%, which is what Ubank is currently advertising, plus they've got no fees. So I said, look, it's not the amount that we were looking for, and in that case, can you please tell me how do I get, what's your link, or where do I go to for your discharge forms, because we are looking at probably moving on banks, etc. So she gave me that, and I've gone and I'll talk about that in a moment. So she told me that, so that's fine. So that's all in process. So what you could do, hi Monica, nice to see you. So what you could do is essentially, you could escalate it. Once I get those results back, I can escalate that to that pricing approvals manager. The other option you can do is go to other banks. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. And you could also hand it over to a mortgage broker if that's what you want to do, or some people may already have a mortgage broker, but you can certainly go through a mortgage broker. Sometimes they can have more success than you negotiating. And the 4th step there, which I'll talk a little bit more about in my step 5 later on, is rinse and repeat. So if you haven't had that luck now, you can certainly, and say they come back and decline me, it's sounding like this is their process, and they probably will accept that reduction to 2.79%. But you can go back in a month's time and go through that process again and ask them to reconsider it. So the bit I'm going to tell you now is, because I felt that 2.79%, even if we do get it, isn't the same as what we would really like, which is the 2.49% from Ubank. I did start the process of, I downloaded the discharge form from Westpac, and I've completed that, and I have started the process with Ubank. So I've had the phone call, and I've got some documentation. So at that same time, I'm really running these 2 processes in parallel, because for us, having no fee of that annual fee is $395, that annual fee, and having 2.49% is significant for us. Like, that's thousands of dollars, and we want to have that in our pocket, and we certainly want to spend that or save it or invest it for our family. So I wanted to tell you that I did have some good news. It's looking, I would say, almost fairly positive. I'm going to get the 2.79%. But as I say, I'm not really happy with that. For us, it's worthwhile going through that process of moving our home loan over to get the 2.49%. So that's how we've gone with calling the bank. There was one really key point I forgot to mention it the previous night, and I'd like to raise it now today, is always, it doesn't matter in any of these conversations, always be polite and courteous. Because of course, staff members, they only have so much authority. They're probably getting heaps of these calls at the moment. I think they're getting heaps of calls about people struggling with making mortgage repayments, understandably. They're getting lots of probably pushback from all of their customers. So I think the last thing that they need is somebody who's going to be not polite and who's not showing them courtesy, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all need to be respectful to each other and be courteous to each other. So that was my one call out, and that applies of course to anything in life, but particularly when you're trying to ask somebody in that situation, I think politeness and courtesy always makes such a difference. So there is one section left. There is step 5, and this is a really key section. I'm going to talk about that. I don't know if I'll do that later tonight or tomorrow, because I'm a bit late with this one, but I'm going to take you through step 5, and that's the key. Oh, and I forgot to say, if you want all of this information and do these steps yourself and save this amount of money, as I say, for us, even that step down to 2.79% is going to be, I think, a good, I think I worked out to be about $800. So I'm going to go and double check that figure and share it with you. But $800 is much better in our savings account, in our emergency fund, in our holiday fund. Any of those things is much better for us, and of course much better for you. So if you want the information step-by-step process, including the bonuses, I've got here some extra hints to make this even more worthwhile for you. Click on my link in my bio, and it will take you to the Dropbox PDF where this is there. And thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of